Hey guys, how y'all doing?
Hello, how are you?
So far, so good. How about you?
Doing pretty good.
All right. How about you, Kyle? What's up with you?
Oh man, just busy, busy. We got up and had candy made this morning, a couple of deliveries made, grabbed a quick bite of lunch, and here we are. So
Wow, it's
yeah,
flying.
yeah, well, it's hey, when you're a one-man band, you just got to figure out how to get it all done.
It's the truth. I actually knew someone who was a one-man band. It was really hysterical watching this guy function. I don't know how he did it. He used to do like Holiday Inns and bar or shops or whatever you call them, bars, I guess, at the Holiday Inns, and he had an accordion and a trumpet. It was just crazy watching him. He was pretty good actually. I thought, wow, but I just don't know how you arrive at that as your life's thing. I just
Right.
have a hard time. Like, there's a story there somewhere.
It got to be.
Yeah. But I guess many of us end up doing stuff we never dreamed about. I know that's true for me. Hey, Doug, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good so far.
Good.
All right. Doug, is your website live, Doug?
My website is, but I mean, it's just kind of a basic site, giving out my email.
Okay.
So I don't have a product to sell yet. So
Right. Well, you could make some t-shirts and stuff, sell some merchandise,
true, true.
build like, what do they prepare the battlefield? Well, I don't know if we're going to have a big crowd today or not, but I'm going to go ahead and get started. So I have a couple things I want to share before we get to, if anybody has any questions or stuff you want to ask me, or stuff you're thinking about. But we've been talking a lot about this live streaming commerce, and I've got a little short 1-minute video that it's kind of interesting. I hadn't heard. So when you think about going live and selling stuff, one of the first things you have to come to grips with is who in the hell is going to be the host, right? Or hostess. Is it going to be you? Is it going to be someone, one of your employees? And in China, where this has kind of got a foothold, the main thing they do there is they get basically influencers, people who are very well known in one way or another, whether they're athletes or musicians or actors or whatever, and they tend to be the host of their bigger shows. So it actually turns into almost like a TV show. These people perform. If they're a singer or a band, there's a lot to it in addition to just selling. And the main advantage of that from a merchant's perspective is you can expect a lot more traffic to your show than if you didn't have somebody who was famous and well known. So I'm going to show just a 1-minute video of an American brand, a shoe brand that has started selling in China. They're small, they're not a big company. And the approach that they're taking with the live streaming commerce is very interesting. So I'm going to just share that real quick, and we'll take a look at it, and then we can talk about it. It's only 1 minute long.
天很有幸的邀请到了一位我们 Roses 的粉丝，是真的粉丝哦。
我是通过朋友的安利介绍，然后知道 Roses 这个品牌的。我觉得 Roses 的鞋子呢，非常的舒适又非常的时尚，然后非常适合我们的上班族。这个环保的理念我们又非常的喜欢。我目前有4到5双的 Roses 的鞋子。
So what I think is really cool about that is they're using customers. And think of that from a creativity perspective, the things you could do with a customer. It could be, I can think of lots of different formats, but I think the idea of using a customer is well worth considering, at least at some stage. Some of the folks in our class who are really using this live streaming quite a bit, Harris Robinette Beef, I believe, has a show every single day, if I'm not mistaken. And Cherry Orchard Foods does it, I think 4 times a month. But the idea, is one thing maybe you could have, one of your suppliers or someone in your business that could be helpful. But the idea of a customer, and especially if the customer is willing to discuss, why they buy your product, what they like about it, those kinds of things. And the other thing that's really cool with the Pop Shop Live technology, which we advocate, you don't have to physically be together. You can bring that customer in on a split screen. So that person could be wherever they are and come into the live event via a split screen, which is very effective. And you can talk to them just like you see on TV with the split screens. You can ask questions and it's real time. So that's just something that I wanted to share with you all. Okay, the other thing I'd like to share with you before we get to questions, and this is another pretty short video. And one of the things that we get a fair number in our classes are really women entrepreneurs, often minority, and often, are dealing with issues that maybe others aren't. And so this little video is produced by Amazon, and they have an organization called Amazon Handmade, which is for products that are made by the maker. And so it's kind of a unique place, not unlike Etsy, I guess, very similar. But I found the testimony and the discussion of these 4 women to be worth sharing with the group. So we're going to do that. I know some of you don't fit this category, but I think you may enjoy it anyway.
As a Black business owner, having limited access to capital, it means growing my company at a slower pace than my peers. And if it's anything, that's what keeps me up at night.
As a kid, I was in a very bad place and in Ecuador. And being able to come to the United States at 17 to pursue the American dream, I'm glad to say that I have hired more women into my business, and I just want to keep on doing that.
I make handmade soap, so basically I take natural ingredients, usually organic, fair trade ingredients whenever possible, various oils and butters, and I turn them into wonderful soap to nourish your skin.
I learned how to make bath and body products through some self-informal education. The process that I use to create my work first begins with me thinking about the experience I want the customer to have with the product.
Before I started selling on Amazon, I was primarily selling on my website, and that was just for a few months. And then I realized quickly that I wanted to expand my business, and I learned about Amazon Handmade, and it became a no-brainer to really become part of that.
It took a lot of self-discovery and self-awareness to realize that yes, a woman like me, Latin-owned immigrant that came at 17, can do this. So that was a struggle that I feel like successfully I have overcome.
Well, I'd say the Amazon Handmade definitely helps me overcome struggles with visibility and recognition, and simply getting my brand out there. that I found were much more difficult to tackle with other e-commerce sites.
One of the things I'm most proud of as a small business owner, woman of color, is being an Amazon Handmade winner for the 5th anniversary grant. I won the grant in 2020 and it was a huge accomplishment for me, and I'm very proud of that.
What it means to me for a company like Amazon to support me is it basically means that they're not just looking out for themselves, that they're also looking out for the little guy and that they want to bring other brands up with them.
For Amazon to support a company like mine, it means that they truly at the heart of their values value the small business seller.
Small businesses like mine need the support of community, family, and friends. I'm standing here today really because my friends and my family believed in me.
It's kind of hard to know exactly, I guess, what the scale of measure is for me in terms of when I will know that my business has made it, because each time I achieve a milestone, I sort of push that meter. But what I can say is when there is a consistent demand for the products that I create, I'll know that my business has made it.
I think I am setting a good example, not only for my boy, but also for my daughters. I don't want them to grow up with that notion that you have to be a certain type of way or be a certain type of person to be successful, to follow your dreams, to be an entrepreneur.
If I could say anything to young Black entrepreneurs, I would say that success, especially on Amazon, is for everyone. Do not look at the odds. Find your purpose, find your passion, and chase it without looking back. Success is for everyone, and you can absolutely do it.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart, because it takes a village, and I consider you to be part of mine. Thank you.
Thank you for giving all of us handmade makers more opportunity to get our names out there. It means a lot to us.
I would just like to say thank you. Your efforts do not go unnoticed. Please continue to support small businesses like mine, because you are truly making a difference.
Thankfully, we're moving into the right direction, and I want to be one of those people that are making the mark, especially under Amazon Handmade.
Okay. So I'm not an expert on Amazon Handmade, but my understanding is it also includes products that are made for you. That doesn't just mean that you have physically handmade the product, but that's something I haven't really investigated. But with the holiday season coming up, I think some of you may well benefit from having a place on Amazon Handmade. I believe it's a lot cheaper in terms of what they charge for merchants on this platform. They're trying to build it. Don't hold me to that, but my understanding is they waive their monthly fee for people on the Handmade platform, and there are other benefits. So I wanted to point out that there is an opportunity on Amazon as a platform, and as well as others, Walmart, Target. We've talked about others. So I just encourage everybody to take a look at that and see if you can't get something on there, especially for the holiday season. So any thoughts or reactions to that at this point? Okay. Ruth, you're breaking up real bad. I can't hear what you're saying.
I was unaware of it.
There you are. Okay. Sorry, I couldn't hear your first part. Go ahead.
I said it was really interesting. I was unaware of Amazon Handmade.
Yeah, it's a relatively new. They say it's 5 years old, but it's really been in the background. But what's happened, I think, from a big picture perspective, Etsy has been such a breakout success on a global basis. You may know the story, but in a really short period of time, something like 10 years, Etsy went from like 1 million in sales to in excess of $600 million a year. So people like Amazon have noticed that, and not that Etsy is perfect by any stretch, but it does kind of orient itself toward small makers, people doing custom stuff, can't find anywhere else type of thing. And I believe Amazon Handmade is in the same realm, or they want a piece of that market. So many of you are already on Etsy, but I just think with the holidays coming up, Amazon Handmade may well be a place for you as well, at some level of your business. But it may not be all your products. Maybe it's like, for example, if you have merchandise like shirts or hats or any of that kind of stuff, I would argue that those were made for you, right? So that while it's not quote handmade, it is in fact just for you. And it's a custom type of thing. It's not something that the people could go somewhere else and get, Doug's martial arts t-shirts or whatever. So just encourage everybody to take a look at that as a possible channel. So with that, I wanted to just really open up to any really questions or suggestions or issues you might be having with this program, or really anything that can help us improve in what we do for you and potentially for others in the future. And I know we have a small group today, but I would love to hear from you, particularly in the area of, boy, I wish we had this, or I wish we could do X and Y. That would be really helpful to me also to understand, what might be worth looking at going forward. So I'm going to put you on the spot and you all have to talk. So who wants to go first?
Well, I have a question, but not exactly what you just asked.
Okay.
But if I could ask anyway. So I tried Etsy before I really created my own robust as it is marketplace. I used to only sell like one thing on my website until I created a store. And so I tried Etsy first, and I really was pretty discouraged with it. And I just wondered if anybody had had success with Etsy, and if they did, what they think made a difference.
Anybody here have comments on that?
I have a couple. So for pretty much, I've used Etsy for the entire duration for my business. Like the first couple of months were really slow for me, but then I started playing around with the like the headlines, I guess you could say, like for my products. And then really kind of looking at like the tags and stuff that I use for my business. And then I did run some ads. So that did bring in like a lot more customers to like specific items. But I think I noticed the biggest difference when I was like tweaking, like I put like keywords inside of the title of whatever it was I was selling. So if it was like a bookmark, then I would say like specifically like what the customer were looking for, like, Black Girl Magic bookmark or something like that. So that did help as far as bringing traffic in, and ads helped a lot too.
Okay. I can share a little bit that some folks who've been in this program have shared with me about their Etsy experience, and probably the one that I've run into that has the most experience and would welcome your outreach to chat with, and that is Taylor Walden of Simple and Sentimental. Simple and Sentimental, I know at one point, I believe they were doing $1 million a year on Etsy. So that may, and I don't know all the ins and outs. She started off, I think, only on Etsy, and now she does have her own website, and I'm not sure what the breakdown is at this point, but I do know that she had a lot of luck, and I think her product line, which is basically customized personal gifts that are often used in weddings and in baby showers and stuff like that. I think that particular niche is big on Etsy. I think there are quite a few players in that space, so that may contribute that people know to go to Etsy for that kind of product. So I think that's part of it. The other thing, in talking to other people around the country that aren't necessarily in our class, they all pretty much find that the advertising that Etsy offers has really made a difference in their ability to attract customers. And I don't know all the ins and outs of that. We had a guest speaker, Warren Allen, not too long ago. You can go back and watch that video again. And what he commented on in his talk to us was that, in effect, what Etsy is doing is they're doing Google ads with your money when you can just do them yourself, was kind of his point. I don't know how all that plays out, but it's something to think about. You know, Etsy is a platform. There's a lot of transactions going on there. I'm sure there's lots of pros and cons. But I think the thing, Ruth, that I would say to you is that, you know, every 6 months or so, everything changes in these marketplaces. What your experience at a previous time may or may not be indicative of what will happen this time. And so I encourage everybody to really test some of these theories out and see if it works, particularly if you know, it isn't too much brain damage to actually post a couple products on there to manage and deal with it. I think that's the other issue, is all these different channels, if they have all different processes, can get to be onerous, you know, unless you're doing a lot of business to really make it worthwhile. All right, anybody else? Time, what do you think?
Yeah, you know, I've talked with various ones about Etsy. I'm not sure that that's what would work for me personally. I think if you got a specialty gift, that would be great. I'm not sure how effective it could be for the food industry per se.
Yeah.
So that's still, I'm still trying to gather information to wrap my head around that aspect of it. I was leaning more towards Shopify, but here again, I'm a little overwhelmed with all the ins and outs of that. So I haven't actually just made a true determination as to if that's the direction we want to go as well. So the bad part is that time is running out for the fourth quarter. So decisions need to be made and made quickly. So
well, one thing to keep in mind is Shopify is really not a market. Shopify is really a platform. It's a software technology platform. And Etsy is a marketplace. So that's different. And Etsy, yeah, you use their platform as opposed to your own. Now, if you set up Shopify, Shopify has a lot of connections to other marketplaces. I don't know about Etsy, but I know Shopify has connections to Amazon and Walmart. So if you set up a Shopify store, it becomes really easy to connect to at least those platforms. Like I said, I don't know about Etsy. But Shopify is, I really view Shopify as almost like, it's almost like the heart of your operation. It's kind of the logistics, the business process heart, and then the various places that you will connect Shopify to are really the marketplaces and the marketing campaigns that you might do. So that's something to keep in mind. For example, TikTok just announced that if you have a Shopify site, you can now list your products on TikTok and have the customers buy from your TikTok through your Shopify site. And so that's just been announced, something to keep in mind for the fourth quarter. And also, Time, we do have some resources that can help you with Shopify. We have an intern who is really good at Shopify named Marco Agostini, which you can reach out to. And we also have relationships with a couple of outside companies that really quite a few of our students have taken advantage of over the last year, and been very, very happy with what they've gotten out of it. And the big thing with that is you don't have to do everything yourself. They do a lot of it. And the big player that we have was one of Shopify's largest partners in the whole world, who he just likes us. And so he gives us a deal for like $2,500 for everything you need for Shopify. And we've had maybe 10 companies take advantage of that over the last year. And everyone seems delighted with that process. So that's one thing to keep in mind.
thank you.
Anyone else have any complaints? Anything like, I thought you were going to get this and I didn't get it type of observations about the class? Okay.
I think the info is tremendous. My only issue is time, in that I get more good ideas than I have time to do.
Yeah. And what I'll encourage you to do, and I understand that it's like a fire hose. What I would do is I would reach out to our interns, and if you maybe you could come up with a couple of projects they might be able to help you with. They're able to do that kind of stuff. They can help you in surprising ways. Some of them are really technically astute, even though that isn't their major or whatever. So that's one thing I think you can reach out to, is particularly if you have a project that you want to do or you think you want to try to accomplish during a certain time frame. We can get the interns to focus on that and make it something they do. We had a little bit of a problem this summer, just because the interns were not always here because of summer and COVID and all this different stuff. So it wasn't as good this past session as it has been. But they're all basically back in school now, so we are in a position to help you. And I also point out to you that there is no reason why you can't sign up for this again. The next session is going to start October 11th. There's no problem at all signing up for that again. Love to have you. We've had people take this multiple times, and I think they'll tell you that each session is a little bit different. I try to tailor the material to the kind of the greater good, if you will, in terms of who's in the class. If it's a bunch of startups, it's one thing. If it's a bunch of food related or a bunch of farmers, et cetera, we try to tailor as much as we can to the audience. So I will encourage you to do that. And by signing up again, that also gives you the ability to do these projects with the interns. If you want to help building your Shopify site, or email or social media, any help with this live streaming e-commerce, that's one way to accomplish it. Even if you didn't get it done this past summer, maybe that can be a project that can get done, this coming season. This class will go to roughly the third week of September, I believe. So keep that in mind. And the next one starts October 11th. So just, kind of FYI for what it's worth. Okay. The other thing I'm going to tell you about, it's very not firm at this moment, but I'm looking at doing a Shop Rural Day event, November 11th, which would be for all of you and others in North Carolina that would like to participate in kind of a one-day shopping festival. And the idea will be to get a number of big partners with us, and that includes the North Carolina Department of Agriculture, NC IDEA, NC Rural Center, ECU, and others, to really promote this event. And I'm thinking about a 24-hour period, and it would be using the Pop Shop Live platform. So you'd go live. You could schedule your time. You could be live the whole time, as far as I'm concerned. But the idea would be to kind of copy what goes on in China called Singles Day. Singles Day is an event in China, much like our Black Friday or Prime Day or any of those kind of events, only it's 100 times larger in terms of the sales volume that it does. And it's on 11/11, so they call it Singles Day because the initial idea behind it was, let's have an event for single people, since every other holiday seems to be for couples or families. That was the origination of it, starting in the late 1990s. But at this point, it has hundreds of thousands of merchants and tens of billions of dollars in revenue in a 24-hour period. So I'd like to do something similar for all of you and everyone in our program, as well as others that have an interest in supporting rural. There's no fee. It's not going to cost you anything up front. Pop Shop Live, as I've mentioned before, does charge a commission when you sell something, but they also provide the shipping. They give you a label, so you don't have to pay for the shipping, which is kind of cool. So that's an advantage of the program, but it might be fun for a 24-hour period. We want to encourage people to try different things, spin a wheel for a discount, or have contests, trivia contests, or, have customers on, all that different stuff. But I did want to alert you that I am working on that, and the interest level from folks around the state is really, really high to do something like this. And it'll only be for North Carolina companies. And much more to come on that. One of the partners that's going to be working with us is Andy Kurtz of Buttermilk Creative, who you have met, I believe, and he does a great job, and he's going to help me with kind of putting it together, as well as some other organizations around the state. So I'm personally very excited about it, but I did want to at least give you a little bit of a heads up that that's the plan, to go live either 12 hours or 24 hours. I haven't really decided on that yet. Some people tell me no one's going to shop in the middle of the night, but my experience with college students says that's not true. They do shop in the middle of the night, and we are going to get a lot of the universities are going to promote this to their student populations and their faculty as well. So I think it could be an opportunity for you all to raise your visibility and awareness of your brand and what you're doing, even if it doesn't necessarily result in a lot of sales in that 24-hour period. You will get a little bit more awareness, at least in North Carolina.
That's Labor Day.
November 11th?
Yes.
Labor Day? I thought Labor Day's in September.
Not Labor Day, Veterans Day.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, that's good then. So we can celebrate Veterans Day too. It's that particular week is called Global Entrepreneur Week, starting on the 9th. And that whole week, there are tons of things that big organizations are doing to promote that. So I wanted to tie into that. I didn't realize it was actually Veterans Day, but that's okay. I'm a veteran, and I think veterans would be happy. We'll make that one of the important themes, because I think that's important. But the idea of getting all of us in rural North Carolina some exposure and visibility, I think is a good thing. And it's the kind of thing. It's not Halloween. It's not Thanksgiving. It's not Christmas. It's this kind of lead time, if you will, between bigger events. So I think it's a good chance for us to to get some awareness. But Doug, thanks for letting me know about that. I'm so used to all the holidays being made on Monday, right? That never even occurred to me that Wednesday was an actual event. So thank you for telling me.
Yeah, it's my wife's birthday, and she complains about never getting mail on that day. So.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, well, can't please them all, right, Doug? So
I think it's a great idea. And, I bet Sherry Barefoot would be a good partner to talk with.
Oh, I'm all over her. I'm going to need you, Ruth, if necessary, to get that whole crew, the specialty food, to participate, because really, I think that particularly that group really benefits from this, because in most cases, you guys have packages that you can ship, right? So I have a lot of farmers, for example. They just don't have stuff, particularly that time of the year. They don't necessarily have stuff they can ship. They might be able to sell merchandise, but their crops are basically gone at that point. So I think this could be a specialty food big thing. And so, yeah, I got Sherry on speed dial, but I may be leaning on you, Ruth. Get your executive team to lean on her as well.
Absolutely. I'm on the board, and I'm happy to help with that for sure.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's great. And I'm hoping we'll get some budget dollars so that we can run a lot of ads on Facebook and Google and other places to promote it. And the way I want to do the ads, I'd like to feature you all, individual companies that will be participating, as part of an ad campaign. I'm trying to raise about $50,000 for ad buys, which I think would generate a fair amount of interest in this, as well as these organizations reaching out to their mailing list and their contact list. I think would be really great. The other thing is that you may not be crazy about, but it's really important that we have to have some sort of unique offer for that event that may not be something you normally would do. And the reason for that is it drives people to make a transaction during that time period. It could be 50% off. I know that kills everybody. Some sort of really great offer that you normally wouldn't do that really gives them a reason to buy from you during that event. It's not going to be all your channels. It's not going to be across the board. It's just for this event. But I do think that's an important part. What they do in China is they do buy one, get one free, 50% off, all kinds of promotional things. And the audience is oriented to that, just like Amazon Prime Day or Black Friday, or people are driven by those deals. But if you think about it from a customer acquisition perspective, you're essentially spending money to acquire more customers. And you're spending money in effect for customers who are actually buying from you, as opposed to an ad on some other website. It's a much more granular transaction. You will get their information. You'll be able to work with them. They'll be introduced to your brand. I would argue that it's a really good use of your money to do some kind of crazy promotion like this. So I just throw that out there so you can be thinking about that. I know I'm going to get a lot of pushback, but it really is an important part of a kind of a special shopping day or festival. And the other thing is that what we're going to do is, and the offers don't have to continue, the 50% off or whatever, but we're going to continue the platform all through the holidays. So people will be able to buy from there all through the holidays, even though we're promoting this day. And the pricing and all that kind of stuff can just be a regular pricing. It doesn't have to be the extreme pricing for just that day. But in talking to some folks, they tell me that a lot of people use the day to learn about the brand, and then they'll come back and buy from you later. In fact, I was told that 60% of the sales in these day festivals actually take place after the day, which I think is interesting. So it's the kind of thing where we'll all be experimenting and we'll be trying to figure it out, but it won't just be one day. We're not going to tell everybody this. We're going to do something like, because of demand, this will stay open until January 1st or whatever. I don't know. We'll come up with some motto or something, but the idea will be to drive traffic to you all through the holidays as well. Okay. Any reaction or thoughts to any of that?
Well, my wheels are turning. I can think of how to do a holiday bundle to get people to start thinking about holiday shopping.
Yeah, I love that. And I love bundles because it makes it even more difficult for people to compete with you, because even in Amazon, anybody, they don't have you, right? They don't have your unique bundle. So I love bundles, and bundles will raise your ticket significantly, your transaction. And I think that's a really smart way to look at it. You also could have things where you could partner with other players that are in the promotion, even if they're not in this class. We're gonna make it so that everybody can connect. So you may want to do a co-promotion with maybe, I don't know, with somebody else, maybe with I don't know, Harris Robinette Beef or Cherry Orchard Foods, or God knows, any of these other, not just in our class, but in the program. I think we may have as many as 250 to 300 merchants participating in the program. So these are all opportunities to promote, do a co-promotion. The software allows for a split screen, so you don't have to have that other person physically in your location when you're doing live. They can tune in and come into your show, if you will. So it's a lot of cool stuff, and I have not learned the platform yet. I will. I'm going to get. They're also setting up for us on Pop Shop Live. We're going to have our own unique space. It's not going to just be the general Pop Shop Live app. It's going to be a special event place that's going to have, I think it's going to be called Accelerate Rural, or might be called Shop Rural. I'm not sure. It's going to have a name, and everyone who's participating, their shows are going to be promoted there. And the idea is that people around the world that understand what this is will know to go to that location to find the kind of product that our companies sell. If you spend any time on Pop Shop Live, you'll see that a lot of the retailers are, to me, they're strange. They're Korean, Japanese retailers, people selling stuff that I just never even knew was for sale. But they are the people that in our class that are doing this now are making sales on it. And even though, like in the case of Harris Robinette Beef, he sells grass-fed beef, and his lowest priced item is around $100, believe it or not. He is selling in Alaska. He's selling in California. He's selling beef all around the country using this platform. So if we can build the audience that they know to come here for, some of these products, unique products that maybe aren't on the Pop Shop Live platform in general, then we have a chance to kind of become a destination site. And the price is right? We're not having to pay any money up front. We're only paying when we make a sale. So I really like that. And my goal is to make this as big a deal as we can possibly make it with the time we have. Okay, well, that's all I have for today. I don't know if anyone else has any questions or thoughts they want to talk about. Let's see here. So tomorrow, one of my favorite people in the whole world is going to be speaking. His name is Andy Galinsky. He's a recently retired senior executive for SC Johnson. He was the executive for Clorox at the time that bought Burt's Bees. And he is an expert in consumer product goods, grocery shelves, store shelves. He's a world-class guy in that field. He's an investor in startups. He represents big companies that invest in startups. He wants to connect with you all. You'll want to add him on your LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever. He loves this class and what you all are doing. He wants to be of service to the rural areas. He's from a rural town in Wisconsin. So he's great. And his presentation will just blow your mind. You're going to love it. I'm not just saying that casually. He's really good. And then on Thursday, we have a kind of a unique, and I don't know quite how to evaluate it at this point because this is the first time we've had her, but this woman is a professor who teaches artificial intelligence for e-commerce. And so it's a new subject. She is offering this class for the first time at Wayne Community College. She's really smart, and she's going to be our guest on Thursday. And I think it would be really interesting. I hope. I don't know. It's something that I'm not super knowledgeable about. I hear about it all the time, machine learning, AI. So I figured if we got somebody who could talk to us kind of normally and somebody who's trained to teach it, we might be able to get some value out of something like that. So that's Thursday's class. So unless anybody has anything, I'm gonna say adieu for today and tune in tomorrow for Andy.
Thanks so much. Good discussion, Dennis. I'll reach out about the interns.
Thank you. Talk to you all later.
Have a great day.